Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the West Ham Network. I thought it was really important to bring this particular show to you because it, I suppose, explains the other side of football, which is when someone does get injured or someone goes through a bad thing on the field, what happens after. So we have had an update with regards to George Earthy that he's been discharged from hospital after the head injury that he did suffer in the Premier League fixture against Fulham yesterday. And he was immediately transferred to a local hospital for further assessment. And he is at home recovering, and he'll continue to be monitored over the coming days as he completes his graduated return of play program. Now, what is that? So, first and foremost, we wish you all the best, George Earthy. We wish you a quick recovery, but it's glad to hear that you have been discharged for hospital. If you've been discharged, hopefully it means now that they are going to try and do that recovery program and make sure that you are okay. But they also have to ensure that he is going to be okay over the next little while. So, it's really important that I think that we bring this to you to let you know that in that time that he did receive that injury, the concussion, it did look bad. It looked like a really big impact on the ground. That what actually happens once the player is done. Now, there is a Premier League and FA guideline. It's called a graduation. Sorry, let me just give you the exact name of it now. It is called the concussion guidelines. And they have a specific situation which is called the Graduated Return to Play program, which gives you a kind of step-by-step process if a player does receive concussion and how to recognize concussion and what the club and the medical team should do should a player receive concussion and how you then eventually come back to activity and physical play. Now, obviously, like anyone else, when you take a head injury, even when you're at home, etc., you shouldn't be left alone for the first 24 hours. Obviously, don't drive a car, all that sort of stuff. And also in the initial period of 48 hours after you have a concussion, don't do any physical activities, etc., all that sort of stuff. But there is 6 stages of a return to play program that George Earthy will have to go through. Stage 1 is an initial rest period of 48 hours. Like I said, in the first 48 hours, it's okay to perform mental activities, reading, and normal activities of daily living, as well as walking. Stage 2 is light exercise, and so that will take place after the 48 hours period at that stage. Stage 3 will be football-specific exercise. They will have to keep monitoring the player through this process. Then there's non-contact training, which is at stage 4. Then full contact training at stage 5. And then at stage 6, it will be the return to actual play. And that's the pathway for the player, and they have to keep monitoring him. Now, any player who does receive, say, a second concussion within 12 months, then they do have to have a prolonged recovery period as well. But they will have to keep an eye on George Earthy for a minimum of up to about a month, just to make sure that any symptoms don't last long, etc., etc. So you are looking that about 3 weeks, realistically, those stages that graduate program takes from start to end. So in actual fact, from the moment, as long as he's going through this and kind of passing each stage at a time, the time scale is looking like it will be 3 solid weeks, 21 days before the earliest return to play date he can do. 48 hours, stage 1, another day of it for stage 2. So that's 3 days. Stage 3, like I said, football-specific exercise, another 24 hours. Then another stage would take you to the 4th or 5th day going into the first week. And then you've got 2 weeks before you've got any symptom-free before you return to football. Minimum return date, 21 days. But like I said, at West Ham and all the West Ham fans, we wish you all the best speedy recovery, George Earthy. Really important. I felt like we brought this to you because he made a really nice introduction to the West Ham team. So it'll be good to see you back on the field when you do recover. And like I said, short and sweet, join Russ later on for the West Ham Daily. Come on, your hands.